The story begins, and we see a very beautiful city named Heavenly Realm, and we are shown a man who is looking at something and saying, "What kind of strange fate with the heavens is this? I don't know what kind of magic the celestial mirror is playing." And then we see Yun Chungwon, and the man is trying to touch him, and just as he is about to touch him, a bright light appears in front of him, and he sees that Yun Chungwon is learning martial arts, and he is thinking, "I've never seen such sloppy Tai Chi in my life." And we see that Yun Chungwon is very angry, and he is saying, "Sure, whatever, it's not all sloppy though, is it?" An outer disciple of Wudong Yun Chungwon. And the master is saying to Yun Chungwon, "What nonsense are you spouting all of a sudden, Yun Chungwon?" But he is not able to understand anything, and the master says to Yun Chungwon, "Focus during the spar." And Yun Chungwon says sorry to the great master, "I definitely heard something." "What was that?" And someone is saying to him, "You can hear." But Yun Chungwon is not able to understand anything, and he is shocked, and we see that Yun Chungwon's opponent is not happy at all with Yun Chungwon's behavior, and he gets very angry, and is saying, "Yun Chungwon, do you want me to beat even more shit out of you?" But Yun Chungwon is not affected by his words, due to which Yun Si-hu gets very angry, and he is saying, "How dare you ignore me?" And he attacks Yun Chungwon, but Yun Chungwon blocks his attack, and says, "I blocked the attack this ti dash." But Yun Si-hu is laughing, because he has hit somewhere else, and says, "What ya doin', punk? You're open down here." But Yun Chungwon is not aware of this, and Yun Si-hu says, "How dare you get distracted while I'm right in front of you and ignore me? Today you're—" And Yun Chungwon is in a lot of pain, because Yun Si-hu has hit the middle part of his legs, and Yun Si-hu says, "Going to die at my hands." We see Wudong's sect outer disciple Yun Si-hu, seeing their fight. A man present there says, "Yun Chungwon is getting the shit out of him today too." And a man standing near him says, "Given how he keeps challenging Yun Si-hu without any skills, his persistence sure is top-notch." Then hearing him, another man standing there says, No, his ability to take hits is what's top-notch." And the other man standing near him says, "You're right about that. Ha!" And then we see that Yun Si-hu punches Yun Chungwon hard on the cheek, and says, "I can hear you, you bastards." And Yun Chungwon says, "You think I'll just keep taking it like this, forever?" But now Yun Chungwon is getting very angry, and he attacks Yun Si-hu hard, but Yun Si-hu dodges him, and says, "I wonder how you got in here. The likes of you." But Yun Chungwon gets even more angry now, and says, "I came here to get stronger just like you." And again he attacks Yun Si-hu, but this time too Yun Si-hu dodges him, and he says, "What's he on about?" And Yun Chungwon is not able to understand what is happening to him, and Yun Si-hu says to him, "Keep that goal for your next life." And we see that Yun Si-hu hits Yun Chungwon's head with a strong kick, due to which Yun Chungwon flies in the air like a football, and he becomes unconscious and two people are dragging him away, and Master says, "Watching him is so damn frustrating. He has got a decent potential, is he not making progress because he doesn't know how to train properly?" And he is telling the master and disciples, "Extend your arms further. Focus." And then we see Yun Chungwon, who is lying unconscious and is crying, "I always wanted to become a martial artist. They made me realize that a person made of mere flesh and bones isn't merely meant for crawling on the ground. That vague admiration I had in my childhood turned into envy, which became a driving force that led me to join the Wudong sect as an outer disciple. But perhaps, because I wasn't talented to begin with, in the end, this is how I ended up." And then we see Yun Chungwon, who is lying unconscious, and the master is trying to wake him up, but Yun Chungwon is in no mood to get up at all, and he says, "Just 5 more minutes." But seeing this act of Yun Chungwon, the master gets very angry, and shouts at him, "How can you sleep after getting the shit beaten out of you?" And Yun Chungwon gets up but he is not able to understand anything, and then a man is saying to Yun Chungwon, "Fuck, that scared me. Yun Chungwon, what are you doing? You scared me." And the master is saying, "Judging from his reaction, he can clearly hear my voice." But Yun Chungwon is not able to understand what happened to him, and he is saying, "What was that? Am I the only one who heard it? Is this telepathy?" And two men passing in front of him are saying, "What's the deal with him? Did he get beat up in his dreams too?" And the master is saying, "Telepathy, my foot! Is there anyone here with that kind of skill?" And Yun Chungwen says then, "Who are you?" And the master says, "Zhang Sanfeng," but Yun Chungwen is not able to understand anything, and the master tells about himself and says, "The owner of nicknames like Zhang the Sloppy, Ragtag Taoist, he was an eccentric known for treating everyone equally, from the emperor to commoners without regard for their rank. As a martial artist and Taoist, he is known for further developing the Taoist philosophy and founding the Wudong sect. He is also believed to be the one who invented Tai Chi." And Yun Chungwen says, "Are you the Zhang Sanfeng I know of?" And the master says, "Yes, that's right." But Yun Chungwen is not able to understand anything, and he thinks, "What's with that reaction?" And the master says, "Don't you find this ridiculous?" "Well, isn't it better for something ridiculous to be happening than for me to actually be crazy?" And the master is laughing, looking at him and saying, "So if you had to choose between something special and abnormal, you'd rather be someone special? Sure, you gotta be quick to catch up with things if you want to get better at martial arts." And then the master sees Yun Chungwen, who is doing something, and says to Yun Chungwen, "What are you doing?" And we see that Yun Chungwen is making a statue with stone and straw, and says to the master, "Ah, you mean this?" Looking up at the tall stone statue to talk makes neck hurt. So yep. All done. And he is thinking, "Look at this punk. You sure a fun guy." And Yun Chungwen looks at the statue and says, "Your way of talking is really cheap." As expected of the Ragtag Taoist. And he is thinking, "Nana. I missed hearing that nickname." Just then a man comes to him, and he is saying to Yun Chungwen, "Hey you! What are you doing? Come out right now. It's time to review our spars." And Yun Chungwen gets a little disappointed after listening to that man, and says, "Oh? Right. I'll be there soon." And that man is going from there and saying to Yun Chungwen, "Weird-ass guy, review sessions are intended to point out what we did right and wrong during sparring, but that guy uses the reviewing as an excuse to hit me again and again. No. I don't want to run away. I'm not a coward who runs away from a fight. I want to win. I want to get stronger. You seem to be in quite the pinch." And then we see Yun Chungwen, who is taking this patly and saying, "I guess so." And he thinks, "Aren't you smiling a bit too brightly for someone who's in a pinch?" And he looks at the stone carefully, and says, "Maybe I'm just a strange guy. Do you not like strange things?" And he thinks, "Of course not." And then we see the master, who is trying to see something in the mirror, and Yun Chungwen is thinking, "I totally love them." And he feels, "It weirdly feels like someone's shooting lasers at the top of my head," and the scene shifts, and we see the martial arts room, where Yun Sihe hits Yun Chungwen hard, causing him to fall down. Seeing him, master says to Yun Sihu, "This review session is for the last duel. Refrain from direct hits." And Yun Sihu says to the master, "Yes, I'm sorry." And Yun Chungwen is thinking, that's just an empty warning. Given Yun Sihu's strong backing, even the inner disciples of the sect tread carefully around him. And seeing this, great master is saying to Yun Chungwen, "You're supposed to perform the veiling hand elbow strike without any preparatory movements. Trying to hit hard makes your body tense, reveals your form, and you get countered." And Yun Chungwen says, "Hey, this won't do. Want to try doing it my way?" "How?" And master comes to Yun Chungwen, and says to him, "Focus, Yun Chungwen." And Yun Chungwen gets nervous seeing him, and apologizes. And Yun Chungwen and Yun Sihu are about to fight again, and master is saying to Yun Chungwen, "When you got hit on the chin just now, instead of using the veiling hand elbow strike, which other basic move do you think you could use?" Yun Chungwen is thinking, 6 ceilings and 4 closings. And says 6 ceilings and 4 closings. But Yun Sihu does not understand anything, and is saying to Yun Chungwen, "You want to use 6 ceilings and 4 closings so up close? A dull head sure makes the body suffer." Then he moves fast towards Yun Chungwen and says, "All right then." And the great master is telling Yun Chungwen that he's coming. Then Yun Sihe hits Yun Chungwen with a 5, and the great master tells Yun Chungwen, "Press down and shift weight." Plant both feet on the ground. Maintain your balance. Once again, press down and shift, but this time Yun Si-hu is about to attack Yun Chungwon by jumping on him. But this time Yun Chungwon becomes a little cautious and blocks his attack, and seeing this great master also praises him. But Yun Si-hu is surprised that how can he block his attack, and great master tells Yun Chungwon, now use both palms. And Yun Chungwon pushes Yun Si-hu, and great master is telling, we're pushing out with both hands not just for attacking, but also to gauge the distance between you and your opponent. But Yun Si-hu is very surprised to see this style of Yun Chungwon, and angrily tells Yun Chungwon, ugh. You rascal! I can't see anything ahead. And again great master is telling Yun Chungwon, block all directions front, back, left, right, up, down. Yun Chungwon does as told by the great master, and Yun Si-hu tells Yun Chungwon, seriously. Have you gone crazy? And the great master tells Yun Chungwon, dynamic chi circulation. Don't think from the head, let it. And Yun Chungwon throws Yun Si-hu in front as told by the great master, and seeing this happen everyone is surprised, and are saying, 6 ceilings and 4 closings. His movement suddenly became strangely natural. But Yun Si-hu is very angry, and he is about to hit a very strong punch on Yun Chungwon, and the great master again tells Yun Chungwon, here he comes again. And Yun Chungwon is concentrating on listening to the great master, and Yun Si-hu attacks him saying, how dare you sneak up on me with these tricks? But Yun Chungwon blocks his attack with both his hands, and Yun Si-hu is very surprised to see this, and the great master is very impressed to see this, and Yun Chungwon is spinning Yun Si-hu hard, but Yun Si-hu is not able to understand what is happening to him, and the great master is saying to Yun Chungwon, that's right. This is it. And Yun Chungwon throws Yun Si-hu, and Yun Si-hu spins and falls into the wall. And seeing this everyone is very surprised, and are saying, what just happened? Hey Yun Si-hu, you okay? Yun Si-hu. But Yun Chungwon is not able to believe himself, how can he do this with his hands, and is saying, is this really the 6 ceilings and 4 closing? And the great master says to Yun Chungwon, how was that? But Yun Chungwon is very happy with this feat, and is saying, that was fucking awesome. And looking at the great master he says, that really like the 6 ceilings and 4 closings. But the rest of the people there are very surprised to see Yun Chungwon, who he is talking to, and they are saying, has he gone crazy? What's he doing all alone? Oh, don't know. He was also talking to a rock earlier. And the great master laughingly says to Yun Chungwon, I don't know why the heavens called this you, but Yun Chungwon does not understand what the great master is saying, and he is surprised, and the great master says to Yun Chungwon, do you want to learn martial arts from me? Yun Chungwon becomes very happy after listening to the great master, and accepts the invitation of the great master. And the next morning we see a man cleaning the place, and we see Yun Chungwon, who is watching the sun rise from a hillock, and is thinking about something while looking at his martial arts school, when suddenly he hears someone's voice, you rotten bastard. And he gets scared on hearing this. And then again someone says, are your hands just for show? And when he turns around and looks, he sees a picture carved on the stone, which is of his master, i.e. the great master, and the great master says to Yun Chungwon, to hell with your Do I, Jam Sanfong, look like that? But Yun Chungwon is not able to understand anything, and some questions are arising in his mind, and he says to the great master, I have a question, master. And he is laughing. And the great master says to him, stop laughing while looking at that damn drawing. It pisses me off. And Yun Chungwon is surprised to hear great master's words, and says, if what you said is true, you are in the heavenly realm right now, right? And the great master says, yeah, so. So Yun Chungwon says, then that must be real. Paradise, I mean. They say it's such a splendid and comfortable place. The great master says to him, what are you saying? It is like shit. But Yun Chungwon does not understand anything, and the great master says, I said, it is like shit. And Yun Chungwon gets a little angry, and says, how can you say such thing as an immortal? And the great master also gets angry after listening to Yun Chungwon, and says, so what? What's nice about having the lowest status? In this place, Bodhidharma plows the field in the scorching sun all day. while the heavenly demon is still busy carrying buckets of shit. What's more, that bastard gets into trouble when he drinks. And thinking all this, the great master's head starts spinning, and he says he sprayed sewage water on those sons of bitches from hell and pissed them off. Yun Chungwon is surprised to hear the great master's words and says, "Pardon? By heavenly demon, you mean the heavenly demon?" And when he comes to know about this, he gets very scared, and great master is not able to understand anything, and he is saying while thinking, "I thought things would get better once I got used to it, but since I passed away like an idiot, I don't even have a successor yet. If only I had a successor, it wouldn't have been that bad living here. But to think it's the youngest." And thinking this he becomes very stressed, and says to Yun Chungwon, "Master, master? I can't hear you." And the great master says to Yun Chungwon, "Still, seeing how you still have a bit of potential." But Yun Chungwon does not understand what great master says, and says, "Pardon? I don't know what the celestial mirror did to break through the heavenly barrier, and create this kind of mystery, but there must be a reason for this." But great master gets a little angry after listening to Yun Chungwon, and says, "In order to learn about causality." And Yun Chungwon gets very nervous after listening to this, and great master says, "I'll need to make up my mind, right?" And Yun Chungwon is trembling with fear, and says, "Pardon? Celestial mirror? Heavenly barrier? What are you talking about all of a sudden?" And the great master says, "It's nothing. See you tomorrow." Then the scene shifts, and we see the next morning, Wudong sect outer court where the disciplines are learning martial arts, and Yun Chungwon is telling, "Like me, some disciples here are genuinely interested in martial arts. However, some wealthy families only let their children join in order to obtain the status of being an outer disciple of the Wudong. That's because even if you have good personal connections, the second and third sons of the family will always be treated as nuisances. But just as there is darkness where there is light, there are also some deviants. For example, someone like Yoon Si-hoo, and everyone hates me for standing up against him. That's probably why they are cold towards me." And he is thinking, Yoon Si-hoo, there is no way that bastard will let me be. That bastard will seek revenge soon. I must make my preparations. The scene shifts, and we see the medical hall, where Yoon Si-hoo is bandaged, and a man is standing near Yoon Si-hoo, and he looks at Yun Chungwon and says, "You seem pretty angry. I will take action, so calm down." And it is hall leader Shin Jae-hyun, and Yoon Si-hoo says, "I can't be satisfied with normal punishment." And after listening to Yoon Si-hoo, the hall leader says, "I know. After all, this is related to the Deokpung-yun clan's eldest son. By the way, about what I asked earlier," and after listening to the hall leader, Yoon Si-hoo is thinking, "Damn Taoist," and says, "My father has promised to support me, so I'll get an answer within a few days." And the hall leader says, as expected of a reputed clan. And he is showing something to Yun Chungwon, and Yun Chungwon is very surprised to see it, and the hall leader says, "This is my sincerity to the Deokpung-yun family's eldest son." Ho ho, and Yun Chungwon gets very happy seeing it, and takes it in his hands, and says, "It's a rare elixir, so swallow it all at once." And he swallows it, and some reaction starts happening in his body. Then we see that he has become a powerful man, and he is just eager to take revenge from Yun Chungwon. And the scene shifts, and we see that Yun Chungwon is sitting near a stone, where the picture of Great Master is drawn, and Great Master is speaking to Yun Chungwon, "You want to know how to win against Yoon Si-hoo?" And Yun Chungwon, after listening to Great Master, says, "Yes, because I have no chance of winning unless he lets his guard down." And the Great Master says, "Oh, that's some objective judgment. If you two fight again, he will probably hit you as many times as possible to vent his anger." No, Yun Chungwon gets a little disappointed after listening to the words of the Great Master, and says, "Master, please stop teasing me. Is there any way?" And the Great Master says, "Of course there are." Yun Chungwon gets very scared after listening to the words of the Great Master, and is thinking whether this is really going to happen, and says, "You scared me. Please tell me quickly." And the Great Master says, "I get it, so get your face away. It's gross. Listen carefully. I will teach you how to create poison. 50 put it in that bastard's food. When he wakes up a few months later, beat him up then. But Yun Chungwon gets a little upset and says, "Pardon? Are my skills that bad?" And the great master says, "Do I even have to say it? Every time I see you perform Taiji Fist, I want to gouge out my own eyes." And Yun Chungwon says, "Your Taiji Fist is totally fake." And after listening to Yun Chungwon, the great master gets a little angry. "Doubt, are you mad?" And Yun Chungwon says, "Are there some kinds of martial arts in paradise that can help me fix his bad manners?" And after listening to Yun Chungwon, the great master says, "I was going to teach you to commemorate our master-disciple relationship anyway." And now Yun Chungwon becomes very happy and says, "You are serious this time, right?" And the great master says, "Of course. This is the martial art I created myself." But he is not able to believe it and says, "Is it this hand? How odd. It's been a while, so I'm not too sure anymore." And Yun Chungwon is running away from there after listening to the words of the great master. Then the great master says to Yun Chungwon, "Where are you going?" And Yun Chungwon is a little scared and says, Well, I was shocked to suddenly learn something I didn't deserve, so," and he is thinking, "I can't tell him that I felt like I was wasting time doing something useless." And the great master says, "What's with your reactions? Something seems suspicious. Anyway, sit down with your legs crossed. Although henceforth you may resent me a lot, now that you have received my teaching, you are undoubtedly my disciple, all right?" And Yun Chungwon sits there and says, "Pardon? I suddenly feel the chill again for some reason." And the great master says to Yun Chungwon, "Take this. I will teach you how to control your mind." And it is saying, this is cultivation technique, the teaching, the enlightenment, the guide for those who want to walk on the righteous path, so don't take even a single letter lightly. And the great master says to Yun Chungwon, "Brat, you can stand up now. It will still be difficult to completely handle this cultivation technique. As such, it can only help you not to get hurt during training and get rid of useless habits for now." But Yun Chungwon is feeling a little strange, and when he opens one of his eyes, he is surprised he goes because he has some bandage in his hand. And seeing this, even great master gets a little surprised, and says, "Wait a second. Chungwon, can you try this?" And Yun Chungwon asks master, he says, "Master? Yes, I will give it a try." And when he throws that leaf, some energy comes out of it, and it goes into the sky and comes back into Yun Chungwon's hand, and the great master also sees it. He gets shocked and thinks, "How can this happen?" and says to Yun Chungwon, "Fine. This time, gather your energy into your fingertips." And we see that leaves are swirling around Yun Chungwon, and the great master is saying, "Next, think about creating small waves on the surface of water. It's fine even if they are small." And Yun Chungwon concentrates, and thinks, "My fingertips," and as he is about to touch that leaf, a bright light appears in front of him, and seeing this Yun Chungwon and both the great masters are shocked, and the great master says, "No. Think even great waves were possible." And Yun Chungwon is cultivating again, and the great master is telling him to do the next step, but Yun Chungwon becomes very absorbed. After a few days we see that Yun Chungwon has completed his cultivation, and he has become a powerful man, and he is saying, "Can I beat Yun Siha now?" And the great master says to Yun Chungwon, "No outer disciple can be your opponent anymore. Since you have mastered lucid cultivation technique, you will no longer be distracted by trivial matters. Just like me." But the great master is shocked, and the scene shifts, and we see Yun Chungwon speaking to the leader. "What do you mean, descend from the mountain?" And the great master tells Yun Chungwon, "Wudong is a complete mess now." And the hall leader says to Yun Chungwon, "What a dimwit. This is exactly why you haven't made any achievements so far. I am telling you to go down the mountain and never come near this place again." But Yun Chungwon gets very angry after hearing the hall leader's words and says to him, "Why, is it because of Yun Sihu? Discrimination based on one's background? Has Wudong's sect always been this kind of place?" But Yun Chungwon's words make the whole leader very angry, and he says, "Cocky bastard. How dare you judge the great Wudong? Get lost immediately. Letting you off without punishment is my final mercy." But Yun Chungwon is also very angry, and is saying, "What do you? Let's hold it in." Yun Chungwon is thinking, "I would have lost my mind if I had not learned the lucid cultivation technique." And he is going from there, and says, "I must endure it for now. Just you wait. I will make sure you regret it. Still, it's a relief. And the great master says to Yun Chungwon, what is so relieving about it? And Yun Chungwon is saying, I mean how I immediately called you, master. It would be strange if I continued to call you, ancestor, when I was kicked out of Wudong sect. But the great master gets very angry after listening to Yun Chungwon. What nonsense! And Yun Chungwon suddenly sees that house and his bag also falls, and says to great master, Master, even though I'm leaving Wudong now, he bends down looking at that house, and says, your disciple, Yun Chungwon, would like to offer you the 9-bow ritual. Just then some disciplines come, and looking at Yun Chungwon they say, what are you doing? Are you bowing on your knees to apologize for your mistake? If you are going to do it properly. To me. Yun Chungwon is surprised to see them. Who are they? And the disciples are saying to Yun Chungwon, beg for forgiveness, and I might let you off after a few beatings. And Yun Chungwon says to them, do you want to get beaten again? And the disciples are saying, this son of a bitch. And then Yun Chungwon feels something strange, and all the disciples attack Yun Chungwon together. But Yun Chungwon already knows this, and says, I can see everything. Hearing this, the great master says to Yun Chungwon, of course, that's why it's called lucidity. And all the disciples are saying, this fucking rat. And Yun Chungwon blocks the attacks of all those disciples together, and throws them away, and seeing this happen, a third disciple gets very scared, and he is not able to understand anything, and Yun Chungwon says to him, what are you doing? Come at me, will you? And we see that Yoon Si-hee gets very angry after seeing the commotion with his friends and says to Yun Chungwon, foolish bastard. I'll remind you of the old days. And he is about to attack Yun Chungwon using his special power, and then seeing this, the great master says to Yun Chungwon, watch out. That bastard has the eyes of someone on drugs. And Yun Chungwon, listening to great master, waits for Yun Chungwon's attack. But great master is feeling something strange and he is saying, could it be that he is combining bow steps and weighted palm? And the great master is telling that Yoon Si-hee's attack is going to be very powerful and says, wait for the moment when he blocks it with his hand and snatches it away like a hook. Then, I can just dodge dash. And as soon as Yoon Si-hee attacks Yun Chungwon, he gets very surprised because Yun Chungwon neutralizes his attack. And the great master says, and comprehend. That is, intuitive lucidity. And Yoon Si-hee is not able to understand what happened to him, and we see that his power breaks and scatters on the ground and Yun Chungwon throws him on the ground due to which he falls on the ground dragging on his face, and Yoon Si-hee is thinking, damn it. I even took elixirs. But why can't I land a single hit? And then we see that Yoon Si-hee takes mud in his hands, and is saying, what the fuck are you on about? You arrogant bastard. And he throws the mud in Yun Chungwon's face, you cowardly bastard. And Yoon Si-hee is about to attack Yun Chungwon immediately, and is saying, how foolish. No one's a fool when it comes to fighting. And after listening to Yoon Si-hee, Yun Chungwon says, you're right. And he attacks Yoon Si-hee with a stone, and Yoon Si-hee is not able to understand anything, and Yun Chungwon is about to hit Yoon Si-hee by falling on his neck, so here you were. But Yoon Si-hee is stopping him. But Yun Chungwon hits him with a very strong fist, due to which Yoon Si-hee falls on the ground, and Yoon Si-hee is very surprised, and is saying, how do you get so strong? And Yun Chungwon is saying while leaving from there, that's none of your business. Never appear in front of me ever. Unless you wish to keep being trampled on. And Yoon Si-hee says to Yun Chungwon, why you little? Wait. Stop. But Yun Chungwon ignores Yoon Si-hee's words and goes from there, and the great master is very happy with Yun Chungwon, and is saying to Yun Chungwon, one goodness my 10 years of chronic congestion is gone. Of course not. Ahem. Listen up, Chungwon. In the martial arts of the orthodox faction, you're the only enemy you can speak of. Refining martial arts is refining yourself, and it should not be focused on just defeating others. Do you understand? Yun Chungwon is listening to the great master carefully, and says, why yes. I'm aware of it too. But the great master is surprised, and says, are you? And Yun Chungwon says, of course, I did learn that much. And the great master cannot believe Yun Chungwon's words, and says I was worried that your violence would be so intense that he couldn't ascend to heaven. But you little brat! Jade Emperor ordered me something. I'll have to finish that up. I'll be back, so take care at home. And Yun Chungwon accepts what the Great Master says, and the Great Master says to Yun Chungwon, if I just raise this brat up well, I'll escape from being the youngest. And we see a third man looking at the Great Master, and he is thinking, but we are not shown his face, and he is saying, what's that guy, San Foam, doing there? And the scene shifts, and we are shown Shanyang County, which is Yun Chungwon's town, and his parents are waiting for Yun Chungwon, and Yun Chungwon is saying, I'm back. Father Yun Kyung, Mother Han Suki, little brother Yun Chungwoo, and Yun Chungwon's brother is very excited to meet him. His father is also very happy, and he is saying to Yun Chungwon, welcome back. It's a relief to see someone who's set on becoming a martial artist come back safe and sound. And Yun Chungwon is saying to his father, I have no excuses, father. And Yun Chungwon's father listens to Yun Chungwon and says it's fine. If it's as you say, the Wudong sect is the one lacking. But Yun Chungwon's mother gets a little emotional, and says to Yun Chungwon, your father couldn't sleep a wink after hearing your news. And Yun Chungwon's father, seeing tears on his wife's face, says to her, cut it, will you? And seeing all this happening, Yun Chungwon is thinking, he must have been very worried. He is still as gentle as ever, trying to keep up that stern facade. And Yun Chungwon's father is saying to Yun Chungwon, Chungwon, hurry and go greet your grandfather. And Yun Chungwon is very happy with his homecoming, and he is also very eager to meet his grandfather, and is saying, Grandpa, I'm. And Yun Chungwon's grandfather welcomes Yun Chungwon, Grandfather Yun John, the person who is the closest reason as to why I developed an admiration for martial artists. And he is telling Yun Chungwon, if everything had been proceeding without a hitch, you shouldn't have returned yet. Were you kicked out? Yun Chungwon gets very disappointed after listening to his grandfather, and tells him, yes. That's what happened. And Yun Chungwon's grandfather is telling Yun Chungwon, was it your fault? I did something, but it wasn't my fault. That's fine then. What are you planning to do going forward? I'm thinking of staying home for the time being. Yun Chungwon gets very disappointed after hearing his grandfather's words, and his grandfather looks at him and says, did you give up on becoming a martial artist? Chungwon. But Yun Chungwon is not able to understand anything, and Yun Chungwon's grandfather is again saying to him, do you remember what I said back then? You don't have to live a grand life. And Yun Chungwon says, if that is truly what you want, I'll root on you even if you want to hold the sword instead of the brush. That's what you said. And Yun Chungwon's grandfather, after listening to Yun Chungwon, says, but are you giving up that easily? And Yun Chungwon tells his grandfather, I haven't given up. I have a goal in mind. Things happened, and I ended up returning home, but I'm going to persevere. And Yun Chungwon's grandfather, after listening to Yun Chungwon, says, I understand. You may leave now. All right, I'll be taking my leave then. And on hearing this, Yun Chungwon is thinking, when was the last time that brat looked me straight in the eyes like that? His gaze became so much better in the time I didn't see him. When did my grandson grow this big? And Yun Chungwon is getting out of there, and is saying, now that I've finished all the big stuff, I can't be lazy on training. And then he sees a stone, and he sits in that stone, and starts his cultivation, and is thinking, thanks to the lucid cultivation technique, the conversation with Grandpa went much more smoothly than I thought. He is a good man, but I'm always nervous around him. How good of a talent is he that you're laying such a vast foundation on him? Master? And then we see that someone has come in front of the magic mirror of the Great Master. And he is saying, lucid cultivation technique. Is this body built upon the foundation of Tao-crafted clandestine technique, combined with strength reversal, and supplemented with yoga techniques of Tianzhu? And his words are clearly heard in Yun Chungwon's ears, and Yun Chungwon says, are you back already? You were speaking as if you would be away for a long time, but your way of speaking has become a lot more unique? And that man says to Yun Chungwon, can you hear me? Whose name is Bodhidharma? And Yun Chungwon has some doubts, and he is thinking, what's with that weird way of speaking? And Yun Chungwon is talking to that man, would you stop joking around? Yes. You must have been quite bored, Master, it's been a long time since I last heard that call. He said he'd have a lot to complain about. Is that why he's trying to make me train even harder? Master, please just speak comfortably like before. And that man is saying to Yun Chungwon, should I teach you one martial art technique? And Yun Chungwon tells him, I'd gladly accept it, Master, please tease me all you want. And we see that the man has become a powerful person, and says to Yun Chungwon, it's good to have you call me Master. I'll keep showing it to you until you master it. So take your time and learn it well. This is strange. Every time the transmitted method touches my body, I feel like a solid core is being established within me. Just like the unwavering, firm foundation of the earth. And we see that Yun Chungwon is also doing cultivation, and a yellow-colored aura is coming out of his hands. And when he opens his eyes he is surprised, and says, Master, what is this? And he is looking at his hands and thinking, it feels as if chi is melting into my body, becoming my blood and flesh. And that man is saying to Yun Chungwon, it's called Earth Essence. The skill is called the Earth Essence Technique. This martial art really matches its name. And Yun Chungwon becomes a little happy, and says, I felt like something solid was being established at the core of my body. The man listening to Yun Chungwon says, oh? To grasp the essence of the martial art in one go, you truly are a talented person with an open mind. And he is thinking that, I've been observing you for a few days. Now I understand why Sanfeng has been laying such a solid foundation. And Yun Chungwon suddenly looks in front, and he gets very surprised, and says, Sanfeng? Master Zhang Sanfeng. When's that right? And we see that someone is coming from the front, and it is none other than the Great Master, who is saying, finally done. Damn. Brother Jade Emperor really worked me to the bone, and he is getting very happy thinking about Yun Chungwon, now, my cute disciple. And then he sees that some other man is standing in front of the magic mirror, and he gets very angry on seeing him, and says to him, what the hell are you doing to my disciples? And that man gets very scared after seeing the Great Master, but Yun Chungwon recognizes the Great Master by hearing his voice, that voice. It's Master Zhang Sanfeng. And the Great Master pushes that man away and says, Dharma, you Olo man. Aren't you going to move out of the way? But when Yun Chungwon hears the name of that man, he gets very surprised. Maybe he already knows the man of this name, and we are told about Dharma, called Bodhidharma in Sanskrit and known as Bodhidharma in the Central Plains. He was a legendary martial master more commonly referred to simply as Dharma, the founder who first opened the gates of Shaolin in a small forest on Mount Song. The revered founder of Shaolin, the North Star of Mount Tai. And we see that the Great Master is very angry with Yun Chungwon, and is saying to him, so, what did you learn again? And Yun Chungwon fearfully says something called Earth Essence Technique. And on hearing this, the Great Master gets very angry with the old man, and says to him, it's supposed to be the Earth Core Divine Technique. You Olo man! Yun Chungwon gets shocked on hearing this, and says, so? You're saying I've learned another martial art. If two techniques share the same root, they can be somewhat harmonized. But now that I've learned the methods of both Wudang and Shaolin, if the two methods were to clash, that would be terrible. And Yun Chungwon now gets very disappointed with himself, and says, in that case, I guess I should stop practicing Earth Essence Technique. No, Earth Core Divine Technique. And the Great Master says, no, learn it. And Yun Chungwon says, what? Really? And the Great Master states, it's annoying, but that old man Dharma has really refined the Earth Core Divine Technique properly. It fills in the gaps you're missing, and it even smooths out the parts that would clash with your existing lucid cultivation technique. If you didn't know, it would be one thing, but now that a better way has been found, you can't just discard it. And Yun Chungwon is thinking, Master Zhang Sanfeng. It seems like his pride is hurt. Well, considering his pride is as high as the heavens, it's understandable. There is someone who has shown his disciple a better path than him. It's no wonder. And yet, despite that, he's willing to endure it and offer me a better path. He values his disciple's growth more than his own pride, and the Great Master looks at Yun Chungwon and says, what's with that expression? And Yun Chungwon says, I'm just moved, Master. But after listening to Yun Chungwon, The great master gets even more angry and says, "You get moved by the strangest things." Well, I did feel a bit sorry towards this guy. But the old man does not understand Yun Chungwon's words and remains absolutely silent. Yun Chungwon says to the old man, "Are you indebted to Master Dharma or something?" And the old man says to Yun Chungwon, "It's because the muscles metamorphosis art was incorporated into the lucid cultivation technique that you learned." But the great master is getting very angry, and he says, "Indebted? No way. It's just..." And Yun Chungwon says, "And muscles metamorphosis art? Are you saying I learned that?" After listening to Yun Chungwon, the great master says, "Yes. Since I couldn't fully deal with your frail body through Taoist training alone, I mixed in a few elements of muscles metamorphosis art with the lucid cultivation technique and passed it on to you." And Yun Chungwon is thinking, "Isn't that plagiarism?" And Yun Chungwon says, "Why the face? Thank you so much. You are truly amazing, master. But is it really okay for me to learn muscles metamorphosis art?" And hearing this, the old man becomes very happy, and is thinking, "I'm the first master, though." But the great master gets even more angry. "Yes, your second master, the one who created muscles metamorphosis art, has already granted his permission." And the old man angrily says, "However, it's better not to reveal this publicly. Shaolin tends to attract some tough guys." And we see some people saying, "What? Muscles metamorphosis art? Where did you learn that?" And they have caught Yun Chungwon, and Yun Chungwon says to the old man, "Master Dharma taught." And on hearing this, they start beating Yun Chungwon and say, "This guy is a lunatic." But Yun Chungwon is thinking, "Honestly, if I heard someone say that, I'd probably get angry and smash their head too. But who cares, right? Following Master Zhang Sanfeng, I now have the honor of taking Bodhidharma as my master. Disciple Yun Chungwon greets my two masters. It is an immense honor to be the disciple of both of you." Of course it is. Their pride is through the roof, and the great master says, "Anyway, I will teach you in a way that harmonizes as much as possible with Buddhist martial arts. So, make sure to absorb everything I teach you." And the old man is saying, "Study hard. I will also do my best to teach you." And Yun Chungwon says, "That's what I've been hoping for. All the hardships so far are now over. From now on, it's gonna be like a walk in the park." 1 month later. And we see Yun Chungwon, who is training, and he is carrying a lot of weight, and he is being told, if you lose focus on your breathing even a little, you'll end up a crippled fool." Very sharp sticks under him, and he is saying, "This isn't a walk in the park," and the great master and the old man are telling him, "It's walking on hot coals." But Yun Chungwon is no longer capable of doing anything, and he falls on the ground, and seeing him hurt, the great master says, "Did I say you can rest? Hurry, move on to the next." But Yun Chungwon is very tired, but he does not lose courage, and listens to the master, and he has to move forward avoiding the stones on the logs, and he moves forward slowly, and he is thinking, if the lucid cultivation technique embraces and nurtures the mind and spirit, then the earth core divine technique trains and strengthens the body like the vastness of the earth that embraces everything. Thanks to that, my body's recovery speed has also increased. My masters have been ensuring that what they give me is just the right amount, not too much, not too little, so they're training me just enough to keep me from dying. I've thought about quitting hundreds of times. But the reason I haven't given up is to prove them wrong." But he gets very tired, and the great master and the old man are saying to him, "No time to rest. Keep moving." And Yun Chungwon says, "Yes, masters." And then he is thinking about something, and we see another man, who is moving forward, jumping from one tree to another, and stops at one place and says, "This is the place, the spot where that guy is training." Then he reaches a place where some trees are broken and scattered, and there are some arrows stuck in the ground, and he gets very surprised to see this, and says, "Is this really the place where that bastard is training?" Then suddenly Yun Chungwon reaches there, and says to him, "Who are you?" The man gets very scared after listening to Yun Chungwon, and looks back, and he does not understand anything, and suddenly Yun Chungwon attacks him, and he stops dragging on the ground, and he gets up and comes towards Yun Chungwon, and removes the mask from his face and says to Yun Chungwon, "You've improved a lot in that short time, haven't you?" Yun Chungwon. Bak Muho. And Yun Chungwon gets very shocked on hearing this. My best friend, the eldest son of the Baek clan, a clan of escorts, and, among the people I know, the most outstanding genius. And the man with the mask says, I was just trying to exchange a quick greeting, but you avoided that. And Yun Chungwon says, no, he should be called the craziest bastard. And the man with the mask says, let's see if you can dodge this too, and Yun Chungwon agrees, and invites him for a fight, and the masked man attacks with Chaotic Blossom's hand strikes. And Yun Chungwon is surprised. Chaotic Blossom's hand strikes is an improvised version of Mount Hwa's Plum Blossom's hand strikes. And Yun Chungwon is thinking, it is characterized by flashy hand movements. However, in the ever-changing hand movements, the places with the least change are, and Yun Chungwon stops that man's attack and throws him under his foot, and says to him, it's been a while. Is this how you are going to access? And we see that both of them are walking, and the masked man is saying to Yun Chungwon, if you came back, you should have come to see this, big brother, first. And Yun Chungwon says, a genius like you wouldn't understand. How can I go find you when I was shamefully kicked out? And after listening to Yun Chungwon, the masked man says, honestly, you have become incredibly strong. But Yun Chungwon does not believe his words. The masked man says, to think they would kick out someone of his caliber. Wudang's sect must be a thing of the past now. And he is thinking, it's a waste to let his skills rot in this place. Yun Chungwon says, right? I've got a great idea. And he suddenly disappears from there, and Yun Chungwon is very surprised to see this, and when he looks ahead, he is jumping from one tree to another, and Yun Chungwon says to him, where are you going? And the masked man says to Yun Chungwon, see you later. But Yun Chungwon is a little surprised to see him, and says that somehow, I don't have a good feeling about this. And the scene shifts, and we are shown a scene a few days later, where Yun Chungwon and the masked man are together, and the masked man is speaking to Rajia. You want me to accompany you? Yeah, instead of staying home, wouldn't it be better to gain practical experience? And Yun Chungwon is thinking something, and says, practical experience. And the great master says you definitely lack experience. And the old man tells, I think that's a good idea. Yun Chungwon gets ready to leave, and the man with the mask says, all right. Let's go together. And the man with the mask says, I knew you would say that. And they both go inside the Baek clan escort agency. Most of the goods at Shanyang County are traded through the Baek clan escort agency. Even with a ceasefire in place, the world is still chaotic with constant conflict between the orthodox, unorthodox, and demonic forces, to the point that merchants without escorts can't move on their own. As a result, escort agencies in Nirim inevitably have significant influence. Yun Chungwon is very surprised to see that place, and says this place is as grand as ever. And the masked man says, well, that's why it feels like shit whenever we have to clean it. And the great master looks at them from his magic mirror and says, cleaning, indeed, is such a shitty job. And the old man says, even here, there really is no end to it. And Yun Chungwon says to them, masters, what on earth are you doing in paradise? But he gets a little disappointed, and says, are they going to ask me to do something strange when I go there? But seeing this, the masked man gets very surprised, and he is thinking, who is he talking to? And he asks Yun Chungwon, why are you talking to yourself? And Yun Chungwon says to him, don't mind me. These days, I've been practicing martial arts alone, so I tend to talk to myself sometimes. And the masked man gets nervous after listening to Yun Chungwon, and says to him, how suspicious. And then we are shown a girl who is very beautiful, and everyone gets smitten by her beauty at first sight, and that girl looks at Yun Chungwon and says, you're here, Chungwon. And Yun Chungwon gets very surprised to hear this, and he is thinking, how does she know my name? And the name of that girl is Baek Seola, who is the daughter of Baek clan's eldest. And Yun Chungwon says to that girl, big sister, it's been a while. And Sunita says to Yun Chungwon, you've changed quite a bit since the last time we saw each other. And Yun Chungwon gets very happy after hearing her, and says to her, really? Have you been well, big sister? On hearing this, Sunita gets a little shy, and the masked man says, you don't know how much I cried every night when you were gone. When I heard that you were coming, I couldn't sleep at night, grandmother. And hearing this, Sunita punches Yutian and says, "Stop joking around," and says to Yun Chungwon, then, "See you later," and Yun Chungwon says, "Yes, see you." Yun Chungwon looks at Yutian, who has fallen on the ground due to Sunita's punch, and Yun Chungwon says to him, "You alright?" And then we see a man, who becomes very happy on seeing Yun Chungwon, and says, "Oh, if it isn't Chungwon. It's been a while." And that man's name is Bak Jin-sung, who is the leader of the Bak clan escort agency, and Yun Chungwon greets him, and that man says while rubbing Yun Chungwon's back, "How long has it been? Oh, your body has gotten quite toned. I was worried when I first heard that you wanted to go with Muho, but it turned out that my worries were for nothing." And Yun Chungwon says to him, "Pardon? I did what?" And he is thinking and says, "This son of a bitch. He just did whatever he wanted." And Yun Chungwon sees that some people are staring at him, and Yun Chungwon is thinking, "No wonder the escorts were looking at me as if they were going to kill me. They definitely consider me an unwelcome guest who joined through connection." And then the leader puts his hand on Yun Chungwon's shoulder and says, "That's right. You seem qualified. But that's just my opinion. The opinions of these guys who are with me are important too." And Yun Chungwon says, "Who should I prove myself to?" "Well, anyone who is dissatisfied, or all of them." "Of course, but one of them says I don't like him. He looks like someone who has the delusion that anyone can just work at an escort agency. Even I had to go through fierce competition just to barely secure a spot. I can't accept a brat who joins through connection." And the leader says, "Then, who wants to start?" And one of them says to the leader, "Leader, I will go first." And another man is thinking, "But what I dislike the most is the fact that this bastard dared to set his eyes on the young miss." And we see that man is about to fight with Yun Chungwon, and says to him, "How dare a brat who couldn't even endure Wudang outer sex training and ran away covet the young miss? I heard you were kicked out of Wudang's outer sect." And Yun Chungwon says to him, "So what?" After listening to Yun Chungwon, that man gets very angry and attacks him very strongly. Yun Chungwon thinks, his attacks are filled with emotions, he must have quite a bit of animosity toward me. And that man thinks Yun Chungwon is very weak and says, "This guy is weaker than Baek Mino, VA, he is serious," and says to Yun Chungwon, "How long are you going to keep blocking? Since his attacks are filled with emotions, he's willing to hurt me." And seeing them, Yoon Si-hoo is thinking, "I had a grudge against Yoon Si-hoo, so I didn't hesitate when I fought him. But I have nothing against these people." And Yun Chungwon is very surprised by his attack, and is thinking, "How much force should I use, then?" And seeing them, the leader is thinking, "Even if one has claws that can tear the flesh and bones of others, the faint-hearted cannot wield them. A fight that hurts someone. Thoughts create worries, and worries create hesitation. Eventually, the mind becomes distracted. It's over. And those people get surprised, and are saying, 'What the?' As expected, he is shit. What do you expect from someone who joined through connection? What's wrong with him?" Yun Chungwon says, "What should I do? Are you kidding me?" And we see that the great master is very surprised to see this, and is speaking angrily, "You are on edge because of someone stronger than you, but because of that mere greenhorn? Do you want to die?" And the old man also says, "To cultivate oneself, one must have a right mind. Purify your mind, and your body will move accordingly." And after listening to both of them, Yun Chungwon is thinking, "Masters are right. It's not just the people I see. Just as there are things that don't meet their standards, there are things that are unacceptable to me. Since I am the person who will carry on the strongest martial arts, my poor behavior will reflect badly on those who taught me. I can't tarnish my masters' names with my mistakes, even if no one knows that I am their disciple." And we see that Yun Chungwon stops the attack of that man, and knocks him down, and everyone gets shocked to see this. "What are you doing? Come! Observe his strength, and transform it. Digging into his openings. Once you catch him, break his momentum and throw him away. Bastard. Good. That's the mindset. Namo. Well, even though Moho often makes a fuss, he wouldn't take just anyone on an escort. Isn't that kid Chungwon, the one you often gave snacks to when he was younger? It hasn't been long since he became an outer disciple of Wudong, but he's truly amazing. There's the essence of Wudong, but I can see something else in his movements as well. They look strangely familiar. What do you think? What to know about martial arts? With that level of skill, shouldn't we? The escort this time seems pretty good, and it never hurts to gain a reliable comrade anyway. I think of the same. Anyone else who is still dissatisfied? Looks like there one's no one. Then just know that Chungwon will also be participating in our latest mission. Chungwon, who did you learn martial arts from? About that, say you learned them from me. They will probably call me crazy, you know? I guess that person told you not to reveal his name carelessly, right? No, he told me to reveal it, but I can't. Your martial arts skills were quite different from those of the Wudong sect disciples. They are authentic though. I'm curious, but I won't ask any more questions because I am an adult. Are you, father? You've something to say. Son? I surrender. Surrender. Actually, I was worried when I heard that you were going to the Wudong sect. However, since you had joined them using your grandfather's connection, it wasn't my place to say anything. The current hall leader in charge of the outer sect disciples is a dick. With you know that good-for-nothing bastard Shin Jae-hyun loves to divide people by their classes, and nitpicks based on their backgrounds. Phew, now that you have left Wudong, make a bigger name for yourself. The more famous you are, the more screwed that bastard will be. Escorting day morning. I'm sorry for making this sudden decision. You are old enough. So there's no need to ask permission for everything. Bring plenty of spare money. Good heavens, do you really need to go? It hasn't been long since you returned, though. What are you doing? We're departing. Alright. Did I imagine it? Tell me about the escort mission again. It's a request from Jang In-jeol of the Yungshin Trading Company. You remember that much, right? Yungshin Trading Company Jang In-jeol. Commonly referred to as Sir Jang, he is quite a well-known figure in the local area. Like my grandfather, Jang In-jeol was a government official. Thanks to that, he is said to be well-connected in Hubei. What makes him different from my grandfather is that he is a calculative person, even when making connections. Even friendship fades when there are no more benefits he can take advantage of. Jang In-jeol actively utilized his connections and founded a trading company after quitting his official position. The result? A huge success. Several merchants banded together to form a large business, and Yungshin Trading Company was able to grow to the point where it could push out all established places. What's interesting is that, among the people that were pushed out by Yungshin Trading Company, there were quite a few who helped Yungshin Trading Company in its early days. They were stabbed in the back and had their power taken away. Jang In-jeol. He's indeed unlikable. Although he walked a similar path as my grandfather, judging from his personality alone, he is the polar opposite of my grandfather. We will join Milingwoon Escort Agency at the halfway point. Once we deliver the goods there, we are done. That's the part one don't understand. Has it been common for escort agencies to work together? Mobilizing two escort agencies means that you can't trust just one. As an escort agency, doesn't it hurt your pride? True, that doesn't usually happen. Honestly, if a request like this had come to us, we would have dismissed it in a heartbeat. However, we were indebted to the Milingwoon Escort Agency in the past. So we are doing this for their sake. To pay off previous debt? The entity carrying out the request is Milingwoon Escort Agency. And the Beck Family Escort Agency is helping as an assistant. Then what are these goods? These? They are fake. What? It's a trick. The fact that they've increased their power so rapidly means that they've turned many places into enemies, right? Among them, the place that Yungshin Trading Company is most wary of is the Hanwoo sect. As Yungshin Trading Company grew, it began to encroach on many of Hanwoo sect's interests. The Hanwoo sect is grinding its teeth at the Yungshin Trading Company, but Jang In-jeol has such great connections that they can't do anything. Well, it is a bit shaken because of the newly appointed official from the Ministry of Personnel. Hubei's new official from the Ministry of Personnel. The Ministry of Personnel is a place in charge of human resources. As someone who values personal connections, Jang In-jeol definitely wants to form a relationship with that person. Could these be bribes? To be precise, they are baits posing as bribes. While the two escort agencies are moving to attract attention, the real thing is being moved somewhere else. As expected, I don't like him at all. What the? There's no one this is. Killing intent? There's nothing here, so what should I be on guard for? And no. You're lucky. This bastard. It's not a coincidence. This bastard is reading my movements. Two of them. Strength observation senses scrape information from the opponent. Their footsteps, movements, even their breathing. It leads, from Wudong to Shaolin they chickened out. Those whose spirits are broken aren't worthy opponents. How immature. Master? Why are you acting like this all of a sudden? Look broadly and observe deeply. Do not create blind spots in your thoughts and outlook. Does that mean I have a narrow outlook? What did I miss? The cargo is being threatened. Don't push too far ahead. The formation will collapse. Damn. I was too arrogant. The top priority of an escort mission is the protection of the cargo, but I was too focused on the fight. Does this bastard have eyes on the back of his head? Don't chicken out. Now that his stance is broken, it's our chance. The softness of Wudong. The explosiveness of Shaolin. Hey! That's not how you use a blade. Say what? The Milingwoon Escort Agency didn't take this job for nothing. We've taken on quite a troublesome task. Should we give up now? We can't. We owe a debt to the Milingwoon Escort Agency. By the way, did you see it too? Are you talking about Chungwon? Both the escort agency leader and Dot seem pretty interested in Chungwon's martial arts. Of course. It's quite interesting. Even though it's understandable that a kid expelled from Wudong can still execute sophisticated Wudong techniques, how is he using Shaolin techniques? Could it be, it's mostly settled? Bind the ones who are still alive, and quickly rejoin the Milingwoon Escort Agency. Yes. Ho, still, you managed to wrap it up without major losses. Damn. Shit, Chungwon, brace yourself. What? What is going on here? These bastards. They've slashed up everything inside the stomach with their blades. Master, these kinds of things must have happened often during your era as well, right? Countless times. It was a gruesome period. There's a big difference between knowing something in your head and experiencing it firsthand. Now that I've been out in the world, I know how terrifying the Murim is. If not for the lucid cultivation technique, I wouldn't have been able to control my trembling heart. Bring those bastards we captured. I won't ask complicated questions. What you know, you better tell us everything. Please spare us, we'll tell you everything. First of all, if you can't answer the question, you're of no use. Listen carefully. I'll spare exactly one person, the one who gives me the most useful information. So, a spy was planted in Yunxin Trading Company? Yes. That's exactly what I said. Something strange. If there was a spy, they would have known that this escort operation was a feint, right? They would have known that Milingwoon and Beck family were bait, yet you attacked anyway. Their goal isn't just to kill. They must be looking for something. Is it a trick within a trick? HM? A trick within a trick? Search the cargo in our carriage. Assume there's something small enough to fit inside a person's stomach. Search thoroughly. We found it. It's the finest white jade. Zhang Injial, that son of a H, he used Milingwoon Escort Agency as the decoy. The real item was hidden in our cargo. What should we do? Since there was deception in the contract, we could terminate it and stop the escort right now, and Yunxin Trading Company wouldn't be able to say a thing. Chungwon, what do you think? Are they hesitating to break the contract because of their debt to Milingwoon Escort Agency? Uncle Baek Jin-sung isn't someone who'd owe a financial debt. The debt he owes to Milingwoon Escort Agency is tied to a personal grudge. Now that Milingwoon Escort Agency has been attacked, we're no longer just third parties. You're saying you owe a debt to Milingwoon Escort Agency? That's right. Then let's continue. They'll come find us anyway, so there's no need to look for them. Li Mi, how powerful! You'll make a fine warrior. You all heard that. We're continuing the escort. Yes. Let's show these damned bastards who they dare to mess with. Continue the escort. Yes. Did I provoke them for no reason? It feels like it's my fault. It is your fault, you idiot. You're quite a force to be reckoned with, Leader Beck. Hanwoo sect's vice leader Hong Munduk. So, it was the Hanwoo sect who caused this. Where else could it have come from? We don't want to clash with you either, Leader Beck. Beck Escort Agency is not the same as Milingwoon Escort Agency, after all. There's no need for either of us to shed blood, don't you agree? So just the goods. Unfortunately, I'm someone who believes in settling scores fair and square, and it seems like some blood has to be spilled today. Wipe them out. I'll take care of this. Where are you going? Get lost. Even though I deflected it, this much force, stop getting on my nerves, brat. Block it if you can. Don't block, dodge it. Masters? TCH. Donkey roll, huh? You're really pulling all kinds of tricks. Do you have no pride? If I hadn't listened to the masters and dodged, my body would have been shattered, you little fly. Thanks to his arrogance, his attacks have become simpler. Not bad for a kid. That really woke me up. Damn it, I kicked with enough force to break his neck. Do I even have a chance against him? Shameless bastard. You've only been learning martial arts for less than a year, yet you're trying to take the easy way out. Judging by your opponent's age, he must have trained for at least 20 years. Well, it's not like there's no way. But you'll be bettered in for a few days. Please teach me. It's incredibly cheap compared to the price I might pay in this situation. Very well then. Draw out the essence of the lucid cultivation technique. I'll try, master. Trying is not enough. If you don't succeed, you'll die here. Bastard. What are you muttering in the middle of a fight? From now on, I will impart to you the essence of Earth Core Divine Technique. Didn't I already receive it? The foundation of Earth Essence Technique is Earth Core Divine Technique, but I only borrowed parts of it to fill in your deficiencies. The two techniques are different. It'll be difficult, but you don't need to understand it right now. Alright then. Feel it. Even in this clear state of mind, it is hard to endure. Had I not used lucid cultivation technique, I would have passed out by now. I can feel it. The overwhelming power feels like it's breaking down the boundary between my bones and muscles. It's filling my entire body. Shedding the shell of Earth Essence Technique, Earth Core Divine Technique reveals its true form. It has emerged. What the hell are you muttering to yourself, you little fly? I won't dodge anymore. I think I can handle it. Instead, crash into him. Break him apart. Is this the true power of Earth Core Divine Technique? It's truly divine. Why is this happening all of a sudden? I told you that you'd be bettered in for a few days. Since I forced the Earth Core Divine Technique into you, the side effects are kicking in now.